My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of the Season 1 finale of The Last of Us. This review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But what a complete and utter embarrassment. Holy shit, this was awful. I said last week's was the worst episode yet, but this one might actually take that title. I can't wrap my head around some decisions made. It's just, okay. Let's get into it. First with the stuff with Anna, which Ashley Johnson did do a good job. But once again, I don't understand why they didn't put the opening credits after that opening scene. It's just very oddly paced. And the fact that she gives balls like that just took me out of the moment entirely, and she gets bitten 2 seconds before she gives balls like that. So much of them trying to explain Ellie's immunity in depth just kind of makes it more confusing and doesn't really work. I do like what they're trying to do with adding depth to Marlene's decision, but they didn't do a good job with it. And then we cut to Ellie and Joel, and I just do not care about these two characters. Their relationship hasn't been well established. The actors are trying as hard as they can, but it feels phony. And the giraffe scene I don't think the CGI was great. They've overused the Vanishing Grace by this point, and it just didn't capture that sense of magic like it does in the game. So none of that worked. And then we get this scene where Joel tells Ellie all about the time he tried to kill himself. And yeah, I just thought the writing here wasn't subtle. It was lacking any bit of nuance. It was spoon-feeding the character and his struggles to the audience. And I thought the writing was just abysmal here, embarrassingly bad. And oversharing, to be quite frank. And when she's like, oh, I guess time heals all wounds. It wasn't time that healed me. Really? Thanks for spelling it out to us. I know this show refuses any bit of action or horror, but I would have loved to get a sequence in the tunnel. That scene in the bus is exciting, but the show, of course, has to skip over it like it tends to do. And then Joel's in the hospital, wakes up, we have to kill Ellie for Q. And Pedro Pascal's not good. I never buy him actually coming to kill for Ellie because, first of all, he was kind of soft to begin with, so I didn't feel like he was lowering his guard, but he's just not good with this rough, tough dude. He just isn't. I love him as Oberyn in Game of Thrones. I thought he was the best part of Wonder Woman 1984. He was a complete miscast for Joel. He was. I'm open to people giving different versions of the character, but nothing about Pedro Pascal's performance works. And then we get to the big fight at the hospital. And look, this show has avoided action, and I would be against that if it all paid off in this one final episode. You are holding out on the blood and the brutality so it can be extra effective here. But they don't do that. In fact, there's a scene when he goes up to a guy with a knife and the camera moves away. No, this is the moment to show that. Show us how violent and how brutal he'll get. And the show just refuses. In fact, it just cuts to him shooting people, and it's just a nothing sequence. There's no tension. There's no bit of atmosphere. There's no urgency. It's just like a montage with Argonne playing in the background trying to be emotional, and it's just it was why did you do it like this? Just embarrassing. If you just had this great action of Joel fighting for Ellie's life to get to her, and him just going full on like this brutal, violent monster, then I'll be all for that. But they couldn't even get this right, and this should have been the easiest point to get right. Like, I just, even in the game, you pick up Ellie and the sirens are going and the music picks up in an effective manner. They're shouting, "They went this way!" And you're getting shot at as you make your way to the elevator. It just feels way more cinematic than one of the most expensive TV shows ever does. And I don't know, I'm just kind of numb to it at this point, but they just butchered it. Like, the show's atrocious. It's not just bad, it's an atrocious piece of shit. And this is coming from someone who loves this franchise. I love the characters of Joe and Ellie. I couldn't care less about them here. And it just sucks. Like, especially the fact they just refuse to have any bit of action or horror. Like, "Oh guys, it's an action game." Shut the fuck up. You're objectively incorrect. Objectively. It's about the characters. It's not an either or situation. Like, some of the defenses for this piece of shit are just baffling. It's all subjective, but I've seen so much praise for it, and I don't get it. I'm on a completely different wavelength than you. And when Ellie delivers her lines at the end, I just felt nothing. There's a haunting uncertainty with it in the game. And here it's just nothing. It's like the Lion King remake. I just used that example with Scream 6, but I'll use it here. Well, the scenes are the same, the dialogue's the same, but it's utterly soulless. I despise this episode. And it's just way too rushed, and you could have delivered on some great action, some great emotion, some great tension. This show is so bad. And people are claiming it's one of the best ever, one of the best video game adaptations. And to be honest, it's far from it. And I will be doing a full-length review. I have pages and pages of notes. I'm going to try to film that tomorrow, so maybe it will be edited and released for this upcoming weekend. But yeah, I have a lot to say, and yeah. But anyways, what did you think of this season finale? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. Gavin